your head is chopped off. Should I put on some heels?
I'm gonna rest the floor.
That's only... Ooh, that's good. Hey everyone, welcome back to White Sparrow Living, Luke 12:6. I'm Wendy and I'm so happy you're here. Today is a little bit different. I know it's been a while since I last published a video, but we're doing some Valentine's Day DIYs. But also, we're going to be doing one of our projects with some special guests. We have Michael J, my husband, and my mom. I know it's a little late in the season to be starting your DIYs for your Valentine's Day decor, but these are so quick and easy, you can do them today and have them ready and out displayed tomorrow. So as many of you probably know, we've been having some issues regarding her short-term memory. And it's been going on now for about 6 months, so this is kind of an update also to everyone who's been reaching out and sending their love and prayers. And for some of those who haven't necessarily reached out, but I know you're praying, and you know who you are. According to the neurologist, it doesn't seem like it's really Alzheimer's or dementia because it manifested itself really rather quickly, almost overnight, maybe a 3-week span. Right now they're looking for infections. We just had a spinal tap last week, so we're waiting on some results there, and we're prayerful that she'll be back to her old spunky self in no time. But if not, it's totally fine. We are learning to deal with this, and we have lots of family support. So this is just kind of a video to document some fun quality time with my mom and of course Michael J. We've also had some sweet viewers reach out and give us some other ideas of what this could possibly be, since they've gone through some similar experiences with their loved ones or parents. So thank you for that. I love you all. And now, without further ado, let's get started. So we're gonna try and make an X and an O. We're gonna be using this science board from the Dollar Tree. I want it to be enough to fit this foam into it. So I just found this to use as a template. Okay, so
draw a line from there.
So technically we just go
right.
corner to corner. Okay, go corner to corner.
No.
So this is just gonna guide us. This is gonna be the outside of the bottom, and that'll be the, oh yeah, that's a better way to do it.
Oh.
And then now we're gonna go that corner, and then we're gonna have the measurer down here. That's just gonna be in the corner.
I look at it.
Mr. Measurer.
That should be perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so now what we have is a big line.
You can't see because it's brown.
Well, we can see it though.
I know.
Okay, so now we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. Go from that corner, how you did it last time. Okay, so now what we need to do is use the craft knife to cut on the outside of our X.
It's a utility knife.
Oh, utility knife.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
And why are we going to use that instead of scissors?
Okay, we're just going to cut it.
Can we do that?
Yeah. So you're going to cut around the edges.
Let's make 2 of these.
No, just one. But we are going to make a O.
No, no.
Because what does the X stand for?
Chromosome.
Chromosome! No, what's the X for? Well, first of all, what season are we celebrating?
It's January. Oh, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, right?
Hugs and kisses.
Hugs and kisses, good. And then we'll use this, we'll cut this down in strips, and that'll be our walls, like this. Get it?
I'm following the lead, I see what you're
Okay.
saying. Hope it comes out, because sometimes you might have a good idea, bad execution.
That's a true story. Perfect. Now get that.
Who cut that one? Huh?
You!
Was I going to that line? Was I going to that black line right there? I think so.
Perfect. Okay, so now we have our X.
Hugs. Okay. No? Kisses? It goes kisses and hugs?
Yeah. Okay, so now this O though, I think we're gonna do, so what I did was I drew an O, but it's not even, so after I cut this side, I'm gonna use that cutout part to flip over and use that as a template for the other side. Comprende?
You're gonna cut it in half? Or are you gonna fold it?
No, you're just gonna cut that.
I know,
right
but you're
there.
gonna fold it in half
No.
to get your other side.
No.
You're gonna trace a line. I don't like that O.
Why?
Cattywampus.
It's not cattywampus, it's perfectly perfect.
Okay.
Or it's practically perfect. Okay, so now this piece that we just cut from here, right? This is the way it went?
Yeah.
Now we're gonna flip it over and use that for the other side
Pattern.
of the O. Yes, indeed.
Pencil. There's nothing in this world is perfect.
No.
Except for God.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I think what we decided to do is use a tie strap, or what is it, zip tie?
Zip tie.
And then put it around our pencil. And then that should hold it. Okay, so now we're gonna measure how wide we want it. So right there. Okay, move that box. That looks about right. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut
Don't cut
this.
it. You have something to hold on to.
I know, but I'm. Let me see the scissors.
Okay.
That looks good. Okay, so now you want to start it with this. Just put it on top of this.
I'll cut through and put it on my countertop.
We're not going to cut through the countertop.
Rip the card. When I do that, this cardboard side's not really, it's kind of rigid a little bit for cardboard.
Yeah.
It just pops, snaps, kind of.
Perfect. That's what we want.
Kind of soft. All right.
No. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna do the second part of our Valentine's Day project, and my assistant today is going to be my mom, Margie. Say hi, Margie.
Hi, Margie.
And so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fill our X and our O, which is off camera over there, with some floral foam first, and then we're gonna fill it with a bunch of Dollar Tree flowers in pinks and whites. And I'm trying to get an ombre effect where it's a little bit darker at the bottom and then it'll gradually go up and go into the lighter shades. So the first thing we need you to do is open some of these packages, and I'm just gonna take some hot glue and pop those into the inside, and they're already separated in 4 pieces. So as you remember, we made the walls the right size so that these would fit right inside. So while we're doing this, I wanted to ask you, Mom, and we're celebrating the season of Valentine's Day and the season of love. I thought it would be fun if you told a story about how you met Dad.
Oh, that's a little embarrassing. I don't know if I want to tell that story or not.
It's a good story.
Oh.
So where did you meet?
Well, sadly, my girlfriend and I were what they call cruising Chester. Chester is a street here in our hometown of Bakersfield. And we had just gone to a drive-in.
Like the movies or food?
Food drive-in, and we had food. And so we parked on the side of what we called the main drag, where the teenagers used to cruise.
In their cars.
In their cars, looking for friends and finding where the parties were, so on and so forth. And this car with 2 boys in it pulled up behind us. And they got out and they came over and said, "Hi, are you so-and-so's friends?" Well, that was just made up. They just saw 2 girls sitting there eating and decided they were going to stop because they were 2 boys. But I think that Greg, who was with Jim.
Jim's my dad.
And Jim was the one he was riding shotgun. He was the passenger. Greg, it was his car. I think he said he didn't have much gas or something like that. So my friend Donna said, "Well, why don't you just ride with us?" And it was a way to see who was out that night and so on and so forth. So they got in and sit in the back seat. Donna was driving her car. I was in the passenger seat. And Jim and Greg were in the back seat. And we just started, there was a route we had. It was probably 2 miles long that the teenagers would drive. And that's what we did. And they got in the back seat of the car. Very nice. And we knew a lot of the same people, even though we went to different high schools. And that's where I first met your father.
Oh, real quick too. I'm gonna take my Dollar Tree flowers and start cutting them off. I'm gonna leave about, I don't know, what is that, about like 3-inch stick or stem, so that when I push it down, it's gonna be over the top, but it's still gonna go in enough that it holds. So when we stand it up, you'll just see that. Get it? Okay. So let me let the dog in.
So those are all glued down now, right?
Yes.
And you can buy these bricks already cut.
Yep.
Each one of them costs $1?
Well, you know, inflation just happened, so now it's $1.25.
Really? At the Dollar Tree?
Yeah.
Well, imagine that.
Crazy, huh?
They should rename all those stores $1.25.
$1.25 tree, huh?
Baked every Sunday. We never miss Mass, and so.
Speaking of which, we have to go right now.
Oh, we're on our way to Mass.
We'll be right back after these messages. Okay.
Forgot about that.
Goodness. That was good, Mom. Just like that. Scoochie over here, Mom.
Excellent.
Come over here. Well, thank you for being my helper, Mommy.
You're very welcome. Anytime. Just call on me. I'm very talented.
Okay, where are you going?
I'm going to watch you over here.
Oh, are you done?
Yeah. I'm off camera.
And here it is, all finished. And I just had such a great time doing this with my mom and my sweet hubby, Michael J. But I love how this turned out. And again, it's late in the season, but this was so easy to do. It looked like it took a long time just because we were having fun and making the most of this project of love and kisses and hugs or chromosomes. But I love it, and I hope you like it too. For our next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm using 2 of the smaller wooden tags, and all I'm going to do is cut the ribbons off of the top, the little hangers, and usually I'll use my CRICUT spatula to get the paper off of larger signs, so I thought this was going to be really easy, but it wasn't. It was stuck on there pretty well. So it was kind of a happy accident though, because as I did it, it was leaving the bottom layer of the paper on there. So since the sides weren't all the way glued down, it did leave that brown edge, which I thought was so pretty. So I got off as much as I could, and then I'm going to use my sanding block to distress it even more. And this made it so much easier, and I didn't even have to pull out my paint, so it was ready to go. So now I'm going to take some sticker letters from the Dollar Tree and place the words you on one tag and me on the other tag. I thought about going back and giving it a little bit of a white distressing with my chalk paint, but since I didn't have it out, I thought, better not. Anyway, I'm just going to place those on top of my little tags, and then I'm going to see which way to put the second tag so that it's kind of crookedy, and then I'll just make a pencil mark to show where I need to put my hot glue, and then just hot glue these together. Then I took some jute twine and just threaded that through the holes at the top of my tags, and I'll knot that a little bit later. And then I'm going to make a perky bow by taking some 5/8 inch ribbon from the Dollar Tree in a red and white gingham and a pink and white gingham, and then a little bit of pink lace. And I'm just going to use the fold over method, so I put them all together in a stack and then just do 3 loops on each side and just zigzag it back and forth until I have a sweet little pile. And then I'll take those loops and fold it in half so that I find the middle, and then take my scissors and make teeny tiny little snips along those sides so that I can take my chenille stem or pipe cleaner and run that through those slits and then twist it in the back. And then I can move my loops around a lot easier and make it all nice and perky. And then I'm going to attach my bow to the top of my tags using that chenille stem and just wrap it around that jute twine and then dovetail the ends. And then I decided it was a little bit too plain, so I took some more of that pink lace and I'm going to hot glue that around the bottom of each of my tags. And then I'm going to take some red and white baking twine and wrap it right on top of my pink lace. Here I'm only doing 1 time around my tag, but I do decide to go back and add a few more times around it so you can see it a little bit better because it's pretty cute. But I'll do that a little bit later. So I just tied a knot in the corner, and then I'm going to take some foam hearts and just start adding those all over my tags in whatever order you want. And then I took a little bit larger one to add to the middle, and I'm gonna take my craft knife, or as Michael J calls it, my utility knife, and just make a little slit down the backing sheet so that only half of it will stick. So these were already cute as they were, but I decided to go back in with my white paint pen and give the hearts either stripes or polka dots or whatever pattern. I think I did a flower stack pattern on a couple of them, but just kind of adding a little more cuteness. I think it would be cute to add your children or grandchildren's names on here too. The possibilities are endless, but just have fun with it. So here's where I'm adding a little bit more of that baker's twine, and it's always a lot easier to make a knot if you have a friend or a daughter to help you hold it. So after I cut that off, I'm gonna make sweet little bows with that same baking twine, and I just wrapped it around my fingers a few times and then cut a shorter piece to wrap around the middle and tie that into a knot, and then I'll foof out the little loops and hot glue that right on top of that knot. And then for the middle one, because it's bigger, I'm gonna write the word "and" so that it's you and me. And you could totally call it done right here because it's super cute the way it is, but I decided I wanted to go ahead and use this as an embellishment for a mesh wreath. So I didn't have a whole lot of white mesh, so I decided to use the leftovers from our Christmas tree. Actually, it wasn't the leftovers, it was what we took down from the Christmas tree, or a little bit of it, and the ribbon that we used from Hobby Lobby that I used to wrap our packages. And so I had some extra striped ribbon, and I'm just gonna take my mesh, and it's kind of hard to explain this, but as you can see, I just take the open end and I put that in the middle of my wreath form. And this is a 12-inch wreath form, and I'm trying to make my loops as close to the same size as I possibly can. And then I'm just gonna tuck those in between those rings of that wreath form. And then I'll kind of mushy it down and get it all compacted. And then I'm gonna go over the edge and then up and through those rings again and just pull them out. This is a little bit thicker mesh, so it was kind of tough to pull it through, but there's so many different ways to actually make a mesh wreath. You can use the pipe cleaners and tie those onto the rings and then just attach your mesh to those by wrapping them up and cutting little squares. A whole lot of different ways to do this, but just tuck it all in there, get it nice and tight, and it basically just holds itself. Then when you run out of a roll to go to the next one, I just tied them together because this is so wide. Or you could use a pipe cleaner to attach it and then just keep moving on. So now to add some Valentine's Day cuteness, I'm going to take my red and white striped ribbon. I'm just going to fold it over into thirds and make a bow, and then take a pipe cleaner and wrap that in the middle and then attach it to one of the rings of my wreath form. And then I'm going to do the same thing with some pink because I wanted this to match my tag. And then I'll just do that all throughout my ring, as many or as few times as you want, just to add those Valentine's Day colors. And you could do this for a winter wreath, you could do it for fall just by changing the colors out of your ribbon. But I think the white background of the wreath just makes it so pretty and just really makes those colors stand out. So once I got all of my bows put on there, I'm going to take my tag and attach it using that extra jute twine, and then just tie that onto the back. And then I'm going to make a really big bow to attach to the top of that. And I'm taking my striped ribbon and some Dollar Tree pink burlap ribbon, doing the same thing that we did before with the little slits on the side and the pipe cleaner wrapped around it, and attach that right above my tags. And here it is all finished, and I think this turned out so sweet. It was super quick and easy, and our daughter already claimed it, and it's on her front door for Valentine's Day. But I love it, and I hope you like it too. For our next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm using a feather boa, a styrofoam cone, and some more of those self-adhesive foam hearts. And so all I'm going to do, again, another super easy one, is just hot glue my feather boa around the bottom of my styrofoam cone and then just roll it all the way up until you get to the top. I actually had a part of one of the boas, so I was able to use that extra scrap first and then finish it up with the full boa, but I had some left over from that one. So I think this might be able to get done with just one boa, but get two just in case. And of course you can do this in whatever color you want. So anyway, I'm just going to wrap it all the way to the top and then hot glue it every now and then. And then once I get everything in place, I'm going to take my scissors and give it a really good haircut. And you probably don't want to do this while your fan is on because these things went everywhere. It was like I had my own pillow fight. So I had planned to add these pretty paper roses from the Dollar Tree, and it was really pretty. They're self-adhesive. You could add hot glue to do that, but I didn't have enough. This was the only pack that I had grabbed, but that would have looked really pretty. And then I took another foam adhesive heart and I put one on top of the other for the topper of my little Valentine's Day tree. You'll see in a second, I'm going to take those roses off because there just wasn't enough. In the meantime, I had found this little candle holder from the Dollar Tree that I had set out because it was going to be used as feet for our next project, but I ended up using it for this project because I thought it was a perfect size to be the base of our little Valentine's Day tree. So our tray is only going to have 3 feet. So then I'm going to take some Dollar Tree yarn and some baker's twine and make a sweet little bow just by doing it the same way I did before, wrapping it around my fingers and then tying it off and then attaching it right below our little hearts. And here it is all finished. And this is just such a quick and sweet little way of getting some more Valentine's Day preciousness into your decor. Here's a picture of my grandma and grandpa way back in the day. And I just love how this turned out, and I hope you like it too. So for our tray project, I'm just using a pizza pan and now 3 of those Dollar Tree candle holders. And as you can see, all of these projects are so simple and quick. You could literally do these in a matter of minutes, and I mean get them out same day. So even though it is a last minute Valentine's Day DIY, it is possible to just get them done and displayed with a couple of weeks to spare. So I'm just going to use my Waverly White chalk paint and paint my pizza pan and all of my candle holders. Again, I was going to use 4 of these, and I think that would be super cute and even more sturdy, but the 3 does hold it up and it's not wonky or anything like that. So I'm just going to mark where the 3 feet are going to go, and I turn them upside down, so now the wider part is under the tray and then it goes to the skinnier part of those candle holders. And then I'm going to use my all-purpose cement from the Dollar Tree and some hot glue to give it that immediate hold, and then I'll just place those right on the bottom of my unpainted pizza pan. I don't end up showing you what it looks like with some Valentine's Day goodies on top because I ended up using this in my kitchen and placed all white items on top, but you'll see that in just a second. So now I'm going to distress my pizza pan and the legs with some Waverly Antique Wax and some truffle and some white all mixed in, and then just using a dry chippy brush, also from the Dollar Tree, I'm just going to go over it and give it a little bit of sweet distressing around the edges and over the flat part, and then again on all 3 of those legs. As some of you might remember, we've been waiting forever to get our kitchen redone and have the cabinets painted and the countertops and the backsplash. So we finally got that done. And so when I got this finished, I was so excited because it was so pretty and I wanted to get it into the actual kitchen. And I love how this turned out. Obviously, you would put Valentine's Day things on it for your decor, but I loved this so much. I wanted to show you guys how it turned out. I'll have the kitchen makeover video out at some point, but it was all I could do to get this one out. But I love how this turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. For this Dollar Tree DIY, I'm using a glass bowl and saucer, a candle holder, a glass knob, a Valentine's Day sign, some ribbon, and a bunch of flowers, and some styrofoam. So after I take all of the stickers off of my glass items, I'm gonna use this sweet little drawer pull that I found at the Dollar Tree. I tried to take the bolt out myself, but it was a little more stubborn, so I had to have Michael J use his muscles to get that off for me because that's going to be the handle to our dome. I also found them in this pretty crystal color, so you could technically leave all of this, the clear glass, and it would be so pretty. I'm going to end up painting them though. And then I needed a heart, so I found this sign that had the perfectly sized heart on it, so I'm just going to pull that up off of the sign, and then I'm going to paint my plate and my candle holder in the Waverly White chalk paint, and then I'm also going to paint my heart and just let a little bit of that metal show through. And then once everything's dry, we're going to do the same thing with our all-purpose cement and our hot glue and just stagger those lines so that you don't get anything mixed in together. And I guess that's a better hold. So then I'm just going to center that in the bottom of my plate, and that becomes our little stand. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my knob and put it right on top of the bottom of our bowl, which now becomes the top. You could use a glass drill bit and get that in there with that bolt and nut and get it on there that way. But I was thinking not everybody has a glass cutting drill bit, so I just glued mine to make it easier. So now I'm going to take some scrap styrofoam and I'm going to cut that down and then start adding some flowers. I had a really pretty big one that I wanted to place in the middle, but I'm just going to get all of that styrofoam covered up with sweet little flowers and just hot glue those in place. I'm also checking every now and then to make sure that my dome fits over all of those flowers so that when I put it down, there's nothing peeking through the bottom. So then I'm going to take my black Sharpie, and on my heart, I'm going to write Love in Bloom. And I made sure to kind of pop it up towards the top so that when I put it into my styrofoam on my flower, the flowers won't cover up the words. Right here is where you should do some outlining around the edge. I forgot to do that or just didn't think about it until after it was in the styrofoam. So it's a little bit easier if you do it while it's out. And that'll make sense in just a second. So to get my heart into my flower, I'm going to take my utility knife and just slit a slit all the way through and into the center of that pretty pink flower so that it's nice and secure, but low enough so that my dome will go on top of it. And then I wanted to add some red to go with the other things that I had made, so I just took more of those adhesive foam hearts and stuck them here and there, attaching them to the petals of my flowers. Again, you could call this project done, but I found this super sweet heart lace trim from the Dollar Tree, so I decided to add it to the outside rim of my plate, and then I'm going to call it done. And here it is all finished, and I just think this is so sweet. I have an old painted frame that I got at a thrift store or somewhere, maybe a yard sale, but I just painted that pink a while back and put that as the background for this project. But I love how this turned out, and I hope you like it too. For our final project, I'm going to be using 2 of the Dollar Tree heart tins, some greenery, and some ribbon. And this is the easiest project in the world, so I just took some pink burlap ribbon again, and I'm going to tie that around my 2 tins. I felt like the colors were so perfect on these tins, and so I wanted to leave it the original color that it came in. And I'm just going to hot glue my burlap to tie those 2 together, and then just add some red and white gingham ribbon, some red sparkly ribbon, and some pink and white gingham. And then just make a super mondo perky bow for the very top just by going back and forth with the ribbon and plopping it on there with some chenille stem. And then I'm going to add some lamb's ear and some baby's breath from Walmart. Glue that in there and it's done. And here it is all finished, and I think this turned out so sweet, and it literally took me 5 minutes to do, and I think it's one of the cutest patootiest of all. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment, let me know what you think. I forgot what I always say at the end of these videos. It's been so long. If you're not already, I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button down below, as well as the little bell right next to it, so that you can be notified every time I upload a brand new video. Again, thank you all for your love and prayers. I hope everyone has a blessed day, and remember to always be the light. Bye!